Subrosa, Rebecca, and Kim.
Yes.
So I just want to say I've been a fan of the band since I think the Striga album. That's when I first came across it. I don't know exactly how, but it might be strange. Like, I heard about it. My wife had the album, and that's how I really started listening to it. But I really like the last song, Cradles.
That's my favorite song on that album.
It's just really dreamy, and I like a lot of dream pop music and stuff. And so it's heavy, but it has some of that atmosphere to it. So, and I might have, I don't know, maybe asked you guys who wanted the show, you're gonna play that song. I think you guys play
actually, I think we're gonna start playing that again.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was playing that one.
Yeah, and it was that song that I kind of thought, this is my favorite song on the album. I want the next album to go in a more melodic direction like Cradles is. And that's kind of what happened, except it also got heavier.
It was the first really melody-driven song.
Yeah. I mean, the other songs were melody-driven too, but Cradles just had this really emotional side to it. The other Subrosa songs are more aggressive. And so, yeah, I kind of felt like I want the riffs to be more emotional. And then, yeah, so.
Well, yeah, I really I guess I could identify, I like a lot of really dark music, and it definitely has that atmosphere to what I'm with, so I appreciate anything that's heavy. So the next album, also really heavy. So with the new album, More Constant from the Gods, right?
More Constant than the Gods.
Okay. So how do you feel as far as progressing as a band? Do you feel this is a natural progression from every album so far, like a good stepping stone? I just said, dang it.
I would say in the sense that none of us held back on this album at all. I feel like we all put a lot of time into it and tried some various ways of experimenting musically. I think because we did that, I would say that it's been a step in the progressive direction, I'd have to say.
Yeah. And kind of like with Strega, with No Help for the Mighty Ones, I picked a song from that album, Stone Carver. That was my favorite from that album. And I thought, I want to write riffs. I want to explore more movements within songs, have parts go into parts that you wouldn't expect, almost like classical music or something. And so I think that's kind of what you hear in More Constant Than the Gods. And also why probably the songs got longer too. So
we kind of went the composition route a little bit more.
Yeah, we wanted to kind of challenge ourselves more with the composition. So yeah, so I think in that way it was a progression from the last one. And also writing just the simple guitar chords. I took some guitar lessons for a year and didn't really get much better, but I did learn a lot of new jazz chords and things like that, so I kind of implemented some of those in the songs. Not deliberately, it just kind of happened. So there's some weird kind of chords, especially in the chorus of the Usher and just some other places. So my guitar teacher made fun of No Help for the Mighty Ones. He was he was like, wow, you're just using the same chord over and over.
Oh, no.
So
there you have it.
He might like More Constant Than the Gods a little more.
So if you're not a fan of More Constant Than the Gods, you can blame Rebecca's guitar teacher.
Exactly.
Okay, being a guitar player, you mentioned using a lot of jazz chords. So, would you say, from my opinion, it seems like you guys use a lot of single note kind of riffs a lot.
That's true.
To me, that's one of my favorite things I would like to be more familiar with in a lot of the music that I do myself. But so you feel like you've definitely evolved as using some jazz elements? with your guitar playing a little bit? You think that's factored into the sound of the new album?
Not like to an extreme. Like I only use kind of jazzy or strange chords just a few times. But you're right in that still at least 80% of the album is still using octave chords, which I use a lot. I mean, I play my guitar more like a bass than a guitar, really. I leave the guitar soloing up to the violins. So I leave that with the experts. So stick with playing my guitar like a bass.
You're just nice. You give us a lot of space to be able to be creative.
Other people have picked up on the fact that the violins operate like lead guitars, and I think that's accurate. As far as intricacy and emotion and everything that a lead guitar does, I think they do. So.
Well, that's cool. I think that offers a unique approach. I mean, if you have a strong rhythm section, and you don't always have to have the guitar player playing a bunch of guitar solos.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool with the experimenting, especially. Well, for me, I'm still like, because I've jammed with some cello, and string instruments for me are kind of somewhat obscure to work with.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you guys do it pretty well with. It adds a lot of really great atmosphere, I think, and it's also really dark, I think. So
yeah.
Like that.
There are. I agree about the atmosphere and the emotional depth that the violins bring to songs is just incredible. And and as far as atmosphere goes, there are parts of the Usher that have kind of reminded me of David Bowie's Space Oddity. David Bowie. And anyway, they're just parts that remind me of Mick Ronson's soloing in Space Oddity. And I don't know. I just love the violins. I hope I'm, not.
Oh no, but I think Sarah and
I.
We got to play around a lot with this album for sure. We got to experiment with pedals and noise a lot more of this album, which was really fun because I don't feel like I think the last album was mostly delay. Like we strictly used delay, and then this one we kind of went a little crazy.
Quite a bit of supply with the.
They all got new pedals and just pushed themselves really hard with this album.
Yeah, I mean, we had some brutal moments for sure. Not everything we ever tried. Especially me with my time bender pedal. That didn't always turn out really well, but
Kim has a project called Cicadas, and she's been really pushing herself with that project for a year before this album was made. And so I think a lot of what Kim was doing in Cicadas, some elements she brought into Subrosa without us stealing wholesale from Cicadas.
Yeah, and I think Sarah was kind of working on hers too. Sarah was doing hers at the same time too, so I think both of us were bringing a little bit more of that experimental vibe.
If you don't mind swaying off a little bit, surprisingly I'm not familiar with Cicadas. Do you want to give a little bit of a brief history?
Cicadas, I started and Rebecca was playing drums for me actually, and it's just drums and violin. I have a new drummer now, Anson Bischoff. He's been drumming for me for a while, but it's just looped violin, like noise. I'll do parts of the lower octave, so basically like the bass parts that you would have in a band. I'm playing lower octave, and then I'll just play other like distorted and effed up stuff over the top of it. Like, I don't know, like, whatever.
Can we swear on SoundCloud?
It's a little chaotic and
I don't think that it's going to monitor too much.
And it's just so brutal. Like, it is so heavy. It is heavier than guitars at times, at most of the time. Like, the sound that Kim can get out of her violin is just insane. And they're about to put out an album, so there's a little plug.
Well, I'm sorry. I've always heard about it, but I've never been able to actually hear it musically or see it live.
Yeah, we don't.
It's so good. It's so good.
We actually talked about that the other day. Edson was like, you know what? I kind of like playing shows. Maybe we should try to play out.
Maybe we should try to play out. like flow through the sonics and like strengthen people, like give strength. Like that's kind of always been the idea since we began. It's just to, I don't know, either give ourselves strength or other people, maybe just us, but it helps us to cope with life.
I think that I've heard about, this is just some personal thing I've looked into, but like to say you have the cycles of time which just keep repeating, and so like certain events with like humans will repeat over time unless the conditions of society changes. So I think maybe we're just repeating certain cycles, and some people, like the conditions could be the same, or I think if people do get influenced a certain way, they could, the conditions could change. Alright, so next thing I was going to talk about, do you want to talk about being a new member in the band?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not that new, really.
How did this come about? Did you go into some of that?
So Christian had some things going on with his life, and he had to bow out. And I mean, for months we were trying to convince him, no, like, but yeah, it turned out that it was going to be for the best for his life and for now. And so he actually suggested Levi Hanna from Holdra, and we've always loved Levi, and Levi's always been super supportive of Subrosa. But I didn't know he played bass. He plays guitar in Holdra, so I never would have considered him. But Christian had seen him play bass for some project, and said he couldn't believe his tone, and he was really good. And so that's why we thought of Levi. And there were a couple other people in mind that we thought about, and Levi just made the most sense for a few reasons. And Andy was really excited to ask him, and so he asked if he could be the one to vet him or approach him. And so he did. He called Levi, and he called me soon afterwards, and he was like, I don't know what's up. I can't tell if Levi's excited. I think I'm more excited than him. And then he talked to Levi again, and Levi was like, oh no, I was really excited. I start to stutter when I get really excited, so I had to play it cool and like not show too much excitement. And so that was good. We were glad he was excited to be asked. And yeah, by the first practice, he already pretty much had the songs 90% down. So.
In the lesson we had here, he showed up. He's already started learning some of the old songs. Like, I don't know if he started Cradles, but he definitely showed up having already started to learn some old stuff, which is like he's way ahead of us now. Basically,
yeah, I've forgotten all the old
songs that we don't remember how to play. So
yeah, he's super diligent, and he also is an audio head like Andy, and he's just such a great asset, and we're really happy to have him. He's also a mechanic, a certified mechanic. So
yeah, we just learned.
If we ever run into any car problems,
tour. And
yep, he's going to school so he can tour and some other things that just kind of fell into place. So
it's cool. Yeah, he's a crazy musician.
Yeah, he is. He's in 2 other projects besides Subrosa, and he's just really talented, and yeah, he has a great personality.
Really nice.
Super nice.
So, you guys got some kind of crazy festivals coming up in the somewhat near to distant future, Hellfest.
Yeah.
That's the one I know about because I've seen it and I'm like, I freak out about it. The lineup's crazy. So how do you guys feel about it?
Like, like so excited.
We're super excited to go. We haven't been to
Not
Europe.
even holding back. It's going to be really fun.
We haven't been to Europe since 2009.
Yeah.
So it's been a while, and we're trying to plan a tour around Hellfest too. So
Nice.
That was a big part of it. I mean, not having been out there since '09 and doing 10 days out there and having it be, like, for me personally, 10 of the best days of my life. I was so excited to hear that we had an opportunity to get out there again.
yeah, it was so fun touring Europe before, and we made a lot of friends. So
I think Iron Maiden's playing.
Yeah.
They're like my favorite band, so it's
I know we've got to book the tour so that we're there for the whole thing. Like we have to see the whole thing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy lineup.
Imperative. And we're going with Witch Mountain from Portland. Well, I mean, Witch Mountain, Nate from Witch Mountain is our booking agent. He was the one who got us in and got us the attention of the festival organizers, I guess. So we're playing, I think, actually, yeah, we're playing the same stage and the same day as Witch Mountain. So it's pretty cool.
sounds pretty cool. Have you guys played with Witch Mountain when they came here before?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that.
At first.
Yeah, or Bar Deluxe. I can't remember.
There.
We might have played with them a couple times. I don't know.
Shit.
Yeah, a lot of shows.
They just all blend together after a while.
So, okay, talk about this kind of controversial Death Heaven show. I guess it's controversial because you have, like, we were talking about some elitist metalheads, and they kind of have this, like, hipster,
Anti-hipster.
whatever, yeah, they have this, like, well, the band, I guess, has that hipster, like, thing around them. I don't know if they feel that way, but then you have all the elitists being like, okay, I don't really understand this band. I try to get into some of it myself, and because I like a lot of shoegaze music, and I just don't like the combination. But anyway, my thoughts are whatever.
But then your opinion is based on your musical opinion.
Exactly,
Not
it is
on,
part
like,
of my taste. So
whether or not you would consider them to be hipster.
My take on the hipster thing is that it's like a norm of society that I don't agree with. Like so. It comes about and it gets picked up on other people and becomes like a thing to be like discriminating against hipsters because they're. I mean, it's kind of like an oxymoron. You know, we're mad at them for being into music, and that would like kind of say the same thing. Like, who are you to judge me? But that doesn't bother me. And maybe when I was younger, like you know, when I. Whatever, would probably beat myself up if I ever listened to The Cure in the future or something.
Right.
So I was a huge fan there. But anyway, but yeah, it's just, I don't agree with all that. But anyway, you guys are fans?
Yeah, it's weird, like, I mean, I understand that everyone has their own opinion and some people might not like the Death Heaven sound, but when I first listened to Sunbather, actually before I heard it, when I just saw the cover, I was just like, there was just something about it that